Hello, good evening. How are you doing today? Good evening, folks, and welcome to Tartan Tunes.
Welcome.
So nice to see so many folk joining us already tonight, and please remember to keep sharing about, and we've got great guests for you tonight, haven't we?
We do. We have fiddle and pipes, piano, whistle.
Awfully good musicians, awfully good videos. I've been listening to them all day, and there's some real cracking stuff in amongst what we've got on tonight. Tonight we have on fiddle Aaron Ray, and we have on pipes, piano, etc. we have
Chris Gray.
Ray. I was getting tied up with the Ray and the Gray there, and it's all happening.
I did. I realised that through the week. I thought, this is not a good combination. This will cause problems.
Ray and Gray. There we go. Anyway, that's us. So we're going to have a magic night. So it's really, really brilliant. Thank you so many folk joining us. There's great numbers coming in already. Remember, we love to hear where you are, folks. Really love to hear where you are. Send us a comment in. And, there's my pal Bryden Priest saying, go, Aaron, go. All right. So Aaron obviously knows Bryden. I was playing with Bryden about 3 weeks ago down at Braemar at a gig. I also taught him the accordion at the school when he was a wee boy.
Now look at him.
That's brilliant. Right. Really looking forward to the show tonight. Please keep sharing it. Let us know where you are, because it is fantastic to know where you are. And it's you can send comments in right through the show. Even when the guests are on, please, if you've got any questions or anything like that you want to ask or say hello, do so. That's what it's all about. It's a nice, friendly show. Mm-hmm. So, what have you been up to this week, Davey?
Not a lot this week. Just working away. No. Working on a couple of music books, which I will speak about in a future show.
Right. Okay.
Not a lot.
fabulous. We've had. I was playing on Friday night, actually in a hall. This would have been there's Mr. Priest. He's an awful good fiddle player, by the way. I taught him the accordion, but he's a heck of a good fiddle player, so that's just the way it goes. He's a good singer as well, the boy. He's got it all going for him.
All the secrets.
And he's a primary school teacher. He's a glutton for punishment. But, there we go. So, so it would have been the Shetland Accordion and Fiddle Festival weekend this weekend. But it's been off for the second time in a row. So they had a couple of small concerts, but I was just saying to Ern there before we come on, we're in a funny area just now. It's really strange because people are not quite sure whether they come out and go for things or not. And we were just talking about it, and she was saying it was very different down in their area. In Glasgow, they were seeing folk were coming out a lot, so it's just going to take time. Build up confidence again.
Exactly.
So that's all we can really do. But I've now got 2 weeks school holidays. Woohoo! There's Thomas in Boston, the USA. Fantastic. There's Isabel Garner, my heart-supporting pal, which is just fantastic. That's brilliant. Right. What are we going to... We're going to play a wee track of yours to begin with today, aren't we?
We are. I completely forgot about this track until you mentioned it earlier today.
Yeah. Dale recorded this with Braemar Media when we were down in Braemar Park, and this was a wee set of reels we played with the border pipes and the box. We only met that day. We'd never met in our lives before. Well, in real life, we'd done the show for
physical. Yeah.
Yeah, and we thought we'll have a little tune, and we finished off with a Shetland tune. Shetland's getting into everything here. Sleep Sound in the Morning, and. It's an interesting ending we come up with to this one.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned at all. You did a little thing thinking I would come back with an answer, and I did the same thing thinking you would answer, and then we just had to stop.
Yeah, we kind of ruined the moment, didn't we?
Well, it's just in case anybody thinks, what are they on? What are they doing? Jack Daniels. Daniels, what was the writing tune again?
Silver Spear.
Silver Spear.
So
and Sleep Sound in the Morning.
A Kate Brett tune, an Irish tune, and a Shetland tune.
Oh, well, there you go. See, who says this show has not got variation on it?
Here we go.
For it. So we're done. Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. It's been meant.
I know, if
I
we
like
planned it, that'd be even better.
Yeah, and there was a nice little squeak at the end of it.
Yeah, I was going to come back in, but I thought, well, missed it.
No, just give up while the going's good. So I was just thinking there, actually, that Braemar thing, that was the last time I saw Bryden Priest, when Bryden was saying that he was on earlier on, because I was down pointing at that thing with the Space Centre. Bryden's involved with that as well. He does a podcast for that on Radio Saxophone. So if anybody's interested in what's happening in the space world in the island of Unst, you're not interested. Oh well, it's pretty interesting.
No, Cam's comment.
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
It's
the only thing about the internet when your wife can watch you from afar. Right, there we go. Right, so that was that. What else have we got to speak about before we bring our first waiting patiently?
A few weeks ago, we mentioned that Pitlochry Highland Games were doing a tune writing competition. It's hard to say.
That's right. Yeah.
And apparently, we get some fantastic number of entries. So, plug again. So, yep, wee bit of a plug. Here we go. The video explains itself.
Roscoe.
Hello and welcome to Pitlochry. Next year in 2022, Pitlochry Highland Games will celebrate its 170th anniversary. And to help mark this occasion, we are going to run a piping composition competition. This competition will be for 4 parts of any time signature and open to any musician who can play and write pipe music.
So yeah, it's open to any instrument, as long as it's got to be written for the pipes, but it can be any instrument that writes it. And I believe you can nominate a piper to be there on the day if you win it to play your tune. So yeah.
Oh, holy moly!
Yeah.
There could be a lot of pipers there.
Well, I think it's only the winner that nominates their piper.
All right. Okay. Right.
If they don't play themselves.
Yeah, sounds good though. Great. Brilliant. 500 quid. That would be handy. Always be handy. Right. I am fairly looking forward to this young lady coming on because I've been watching her videos, and I think when we had Amy Lawrenson on a while ago, I think actually Amy maybe played a track that had Ern on it as well. So our first guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring her on. It's Ern Ray. Hi, Ern.
How you doing? I'm good. How are you?
You're getting fan mail comments in already.
Oh, God. That Amy and Brian, any chance?
Yeah, I don't know you know Brian. I taught Brian right from primary 5 at USN Primary School. So.
I'll tell you what, Peter, I only met Brian about an hour ago, so.
Really?
Yeah, genuinely.
Genuinely? Oh,
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, you'll find out about it. Well, anything you need to know, then just let me know, and I'll let you know. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. This is brilliant timing because you were very busy last weekend because you were in the semi-finals of the BBC Young Trad Musician of the Year. I think I said that right there. Is it Young Traditional? No, what is it?
You missed about it's the BBC Radio Scotland Young Traditional Musician of the Year 2022.
This is why we have Davey here, because Davey just kind of tidies up the little bits that I get wrong.
I've got the broom for the missing notes.
Yeah, he's the kind of editor. And so, first of all, congratulations. Well done. You have succeeded in getting through to the finals, which is pretty amazing because there was some pretty good players in there in that semi-finals as well. So, great achievement. Well done. When is the finals? It's part of Celtic Connections, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think it's the very last day of Celtic. It's the 6th of February off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think it's a late one this year, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is, for me, I would prefer it was at the start so I could get out of the way and have fun. The first few weeks.
You're going to have a kind of reserved fortnight.
Yeah.
But brilliant, well done anyway. It's a great achievement to get through to that, and there's some fantastic players in the final as well. So it's going to be it's going to be a really good show, and it's a nice mixture. It's a nice contrast actually. Players that's in the final.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's not like the old days when you competed at Musselburgh or something where there was 500 fiddle players in one section.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes it harder to judge with all the instruments. So I think there's fiddle, harp, piano.
Yeah.
Massive range.
Tell me that you were brought up where? I know you're in Glasgow now, but you were brought up where?
So I was brought up just outside Jedburgh in the Scottish borders.
Okay.
So I was there for my whole life until I moved up to Glasgow I'm in 4th year now, so yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah. We'll speak about that as we go along, your 4th year, so look out there. Folks all over the world that are watching tonight, if you do want to ask Aaron any questions or ask even something like where is Jedburgh, we'll tell you, in the borders of Scotland. I went to Biggar High School, which is about starting to get into the borders, but not quite. And kind of outside, isn't it? It's kind of in the north end. We used to get rugby at school. That was about as close as we got. That was about it. So. But I think what we'll do is have a wee set of tunes here to begin with, and then we'll get you back to speak about a few things. So the first set we're going to have tonight is from a recital that you done. Now, did you do this recital? Was that last year you done this one?
So this would have been just at the start of June this year.
Just at the start of June. So have you finished 4th year at the university now? That's you finished then?
No, so I'm going 4th year now. That was my 3rd year recital in June.
Okay. So do you have to do a recital at the end of every year then? Right, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And what's the kind of script for that? Have you set what you have to do for it? Or?
Well, in 1st and 2nd year, it's not actually public.
Right.
So the prep is off a wee bit. But it's half an hour 1st and 2nd year. And then 3rd and 4th, it's 45 minutes.
Wow.
So it's supposed to be public 3rd and 4th, but obviously this year we couldn't.
And the music left to your choice, so etc.
Yeah. So I mean, within reason, but yeah.
Yeah. And so normally it would just be what tutors etc. that's there. Then normally is it or?
No, so totally open to the public. I mean, obviously all the tutors come along. You've got a panel that judges you. But family and friends are totally welcome to come along. It's usually in the CCA on Sauchiehall Street. So nice wee venue.
Because we had Marie on a couple of weeks ago. We had Marie Fieldman on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then last year we had Alistair on as well. So they're all in there, all these guys that are tutoring. So it's cool to see all you guys going through now as well, which is brilliant. So this was the start of your recital. Tell us a wee bit what we're going to hear here.
So it's 3 traditional jigs. Well, the first one's a jig. It's called The Banks of the Devon, written by William Christie. And then I think it goes into 2 traditional slip jigs. So all 3 tunes were sourced from various collections. So they're all really old tunes. But yeah, good fun to play.
This is one thing I absolutely love about having the conservatoire students on, is that they actually know where the tunes come from because they've had to research them and they know the names. Some
are forced to.
yeah, I know, but some musicians that have been on the go for years and years and years and they don't know the names of any of the tunes, and you're like, what are you going to play? They're like, I don't know. Yeah, okay. And it's good. Anyway, let's have a wee listen to this. Really looking forward to this. It's brilliant. You'll enjoy this, folks. Yeah, lovely. Really good.
Thank you.
Have you started thinking about the finals already then? Have you started thinking about material? Or?
No,
Quite
don't start.
right.
Uh,
Chill out and enjoy it. Was Michael there that was playing
Yeah.
piano? I thought it
That
was.
was my
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
Michael was on as well.
it was good when you get the last year's winner to accompany your recital.
Yeah, well, I mean, Michael's one of my longest standing pals actually.
Yeah.
Because he's originally from near Newcastle.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot in the way of traditional music in the Borders, believe it or not. So I used to have to go down to the Sage in Newcastle quite a lot.
Right. Okay.
So we met down there.
Because I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask, where did the interest come from then for you to begin with for traditional music then? Where did that start?
Well, I've got an older sister she's 10 years older than me. And she was getting lessons from Katrina MacDonald.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously, you kind of want to copy everything that your older sibling does. And I used to go along, and Katrina lived on the green in this wee village about 5 miles along from me. And I used to go outside when my sister was having a lesson, and I would jump up and down on the green, and I would like skip and I'd be like, oh. And I'd draw little pictures, and I was just desperate for lessons. And she was like, look, I'm too busy, because obviously like she's got so much on. And then one day she said to my mum, she was like, look, I'll give her a lesson, but it probably won't come to anything. So I had a lesson, and then it went swimmingly. So
Brilliant. Right.
Never looked back.
So you had lessons from Katrina for quite a few years then, did you?
Yeah, so that started when I was 7, I think.
Wow.
And then right up until I went to uni, so 17, 10 years.
I keep forgetting Katrina's been away for Shetland for so long now, and she really has been away a long time. She's been away about the same time as I've been here. We kind of swapped over it, and it's. I mean, she's an absolutely brilliant player herself, and she's doing a lot of tutoring. I think she's doing a lot of tutoring in Newcastle as well, doesn't she? So
She is, yeah.
So it's really great to see all these players coming through and developing styles. So if you were saying there wasn't really just that much folk music in the Borders then at that point in time, not really, no?
Not a great deal, not compared to, I mean, obviously when you go up into the Highlands and, I mean, Shetland's another league, but you've got Faith Rosh and all those kinds of things. So we didn't really have any of that. There was a few really good bands and stuff going, like the Small Hall Band and the Borders Fiddle Group. But apart from that, it was, there wasn't a lot going on. So I used to go down to Newcastle a lot.
Yeah. So how far was it to Newcastle? That must have still been a wee bit of a journey, was it not?
It was, 60 miles.
It's still quite a bit.
60 miles?
Yeah.
That's like Dundee to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
very lucky to have. I mean, there was a couple of us. So Focus Drum was the thing that I did was fortnightly. So we kind of had like 3 parents that took turns, which was so lucky. Really supportive parents, but yeah, couldn't have done it without them.
I'm laughing at him saying there's 60 miles, that's not that far. See, when you've lived in Shetland for 25 years, 10 miles is far now. But I agree, when I came here, folk used to moan about having to travel 20 minutes to work. And I was like, what? Because it was just so different. And then there was a thing, Tesco's put a roundabout in. It was one of the first roundabouts in Shetland. And nobody knew how to use it. And they all sat there being polite and letting each other out and waving folk about. And, no, you go. No, you go. It's okay. And on it went and on it went. And then it was all over the press the next week, I had to wait 5 minutes to get to work because of this new roundabout. Which I found hilarious. Because Anderson Drive at the time in Aberdeen used to take you about 3 days to get round it at one point. It was just... So it was, it was quite kind of cool. But you said you've never been up to Shetland yet?
No.
The
plan was to go up last April. As we were talking about Amy before, she's from there. So There was a wee group of us that were going to go up with Amy.
God.
Then lockdown hit. We were like, "Oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine," and then, of course,
And it wasn't.
everything crashed and burned.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get that reorganised. Fingers crossed.
Well, Amy, that you're talking about, that leads us on really nicely, actually, to the next track here, because it is you and Amy playing. And,
Yes.
and before we came on earlier, I was speaking to you, telling you that I've known Amy for a long, long time, and I can actually see her house from my house across the pole. And she's a wonderful musician and a great person as well. She's just magic. So you guys are going to be playing a wee Shetland tune here, and it's the Love of the Isles, the late Willie Hunter's tune. And this is absolutely beautiful. So if you would, folks out there, so as you know, Willie Hunter was a famous Shetland fiddler composer. And he's a great miss, actually. He was a great tutor as well. And this is one of his tunes. So it's lovely. So enjoy. Yeah, brilliant. Really good. Of course, that was the Strasbaean reel after that. Remind me of the Strasbae's name.
Now you're asking. One of them's Willie Hunter's. One of them's Willie Hunter's compliments to somebody else.
Dan McDonald, was it?
Dan McDonald. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Mary McLennan's. Maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you're right. Brilliant tunes, really, really good tunes, and what a nice sound and nice. The two of you working really well together. So, when you started playing, then did you play in little groups and things like that when you were in the Borders?
Yeah. So I briefly mentioned them earlier, but I think the very first one that I joined was probably the Borders Fiddle Group.
Yeah.
My mum actually set that up in 2000 when I was born.
Okay.
And they're still going now. So I was with them for a long time. It's mainly an adult group, that one. And the other one was the Small Hall Band, which was kind of younger folk. And loads of people have come up through that, like people like Innes Watson, Laurie Watson, Carly Blaine, folk like that. So that was they were the two main ones.
So that's been a good thing in the Borders. So at least you guys being about, you have started having some music in the area you were from as well, rather than help develop that in that area. Mm-hmm. But and then, so obviously you took that right through school years, and then you decided to go to the conservatoire.
Yeah.
So, at what kind of point then before that did you think, right, I fancy making music my career, or was it okay, I just fancy that?
I think it was a natural progression, really.
Yeah.
I mean, weirdly, when I was in kind of third, fourth, fifth year of school, I thought I maybe wanted to be a dentist. So that it was kind of between the two.
Funny you should say that, actually. Some people have said when I play it's like drawing teeth. That's another similarity thing. So.
I think it's more like your playing's like toothache.
Oh, boys.
Oh, we love each other dearly. Right, anyway. But so great. So then conservatoire came along. What was that like, going from Jedburgh to Glasgow, the big smoke?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd only lived in to be fair, I'm not even in Jedburgh, it's just outside, so I was in the middle of nowhere for 17 years. And then it honestly it didn't feel like much of a culture shock, surprisingly. Right. I mean, as I said, I spent a lot of time in Newcastle and buzzing about and doing gigs in other places, so it didn't feel too strange, didn't get too homesick, but I quite like splitting my time between Glasgow and going home as well. Yeah. Feels like a nice break.
And before you went to uni, I happened to notice tonight, I don't know why I came across it, but I came across the results for Musselburgh competitions like the accordion and fiddle things, and you won that before as well. Mm-hmm. And you used to do competitions and things like that as well, because there was another fellow that's a kind of friend of the show, Roddy Matthews. Roddy messaged in through the week and said, "Oh, I remember judging this girl when she was very, very young and thinking she's going to be a star, and there you are now. You're up there doing it, you know." So it's brilliant to follow all these things. So, did you enjoy competing in that kind of way, or?
I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but it was a good incentive. I think it just something to motivate me. But yeah, I think I remember Roddy. It was back in. I think it was at Newcastle and Folk Festival. He judged me. Yeah.
It's in a way, I suppose these things are possibly helpful. And like so, look where you are now. You've done the semi-finals of an hour, and it is a competition as such, and finals. So at least you're going into that having had a wee bit of experience of competing in that. Because some players have never competed at all; they've just come up through the scene playing, and it can be particularly daunting when you're suddenly put on stage and told to perform, kind of style thing. So hopefully that's been something that's in your favour there. So, have you had
Yeah.
much time to play when you've been in Glasgow? Have you been involved with any groups much in Glasgow, or have you played with many groups?
Not too much since I moved here, but before I moved here, I was in a band with Michael Biggins that we saw earlier, and it was me and Michael, and I think there was 4 or 5 others. It kind of depended who could make it, but that was a great experience. We got to do loads of festivals down south, and it was good fun. But I think
What was the name of that band? That was
they were called Northern Company.
right, because I remember we had Michael on one night speaking, and he was talking about all the different bands he'd played with and things. He's an amazing musician as well, fantastic.
He is outstanding.
So it must have been a joy to play with him. Actually, it must have been great fun. So really, you've just kind of concentrated on studies and solo work, then, have you, during your time in Glasgow?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a lot of my time spent out at sessions and whatnot.
Never,
So-
really not. Goodness me.
I know, you never guess.
Glasgow's just like a hub. It's just like a hub just now, isn't it? Glasgow. It used to. I mean, Edinburgh used to have a very, very big scene as well at one point in time, but I think Glasgow's the scene now. It's just so happening, and I think because of like how you guys been about as well, studying and that, is going to make these places happen.
Yeah.
There's some amazing music going on. It's fantastic.
I mean, I think because lockdown finished and whatnot, it was the sessions were always going to go wild. But even between then and people coming back to uni, like freshers coming in, there's just been noticeably like a massive buzz within the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So it makes such a difference. People coming here for studying.
Absolutely, getting things going again. And you're going into 4th year now. Are you in 4th year now? You'll be in 4th year now.
In 4th year now, yeah.
You're in the 4th year now. So end of 4th year, any plans? Any projects thinking about it? Or?
Nothing much yet. Just I'm just going with the flow, really. Just hoping that things will fall into place. Do a bit of teaching.
Well, we're definitely going to have to try and get you up to Shetland. That's for sure. Anyway.
Oh, so definitely.
I'll go about and put a good word out there for you. Don't you worry. We'll get the shooters up. That'll be fun. And then, so you just see how it goes. But you are tutoring as well, then.
Yeah. I've got a group class and a couple of private students as well, so it's good fun.
And also, I think it really is part of being a working musician now, isn't it? Because it does give you some steady income that's coming in. Because with the gigs thing, even in normal times, the gigs thing could be sporadic. You never knew what was going to happen sometimes. So you're managing, and it's nice seeing your own pupils coming up through and things like that as well. So we have another wee track from your recital here. This was the last set you done in your recital. Tell us a wee bit about that. Can you mind the names of the tunes?
The first
just make them up. Just make them.
Silly bunch of fibs. I think the first one is called Kissing Tree Lane, and I learned it from the English fiddler Nancy Kerr and her husband James Fagan, and it was written by Rob Harbron, he writes brilliant tunes. He's a English concertina melodian, but I can't remember which one. And then I go into 2 pipe reels. The first one's the Last Mile. It's a great tune. And then finish off with Picnic in the Sky by Matthew Watson.
Picnic in the Sky. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
The Last Mile is by Mark Stewart, isn't it?
Mark Stewart, that's it, yeah. Mark Stewart. Yeah.
Brilliant. Here we go. Enjoy, good people out there. Electric. Absolutely electric. Fantastic.
Just should have waited so you're aware. I gave Mark a shout to let him know that was getting played.
Oh, I was like, how mortified.
I was like, guess what, Mark?
Well, that's cool. That's cool that he came on and heard it though. That's brilliant. Magic. Yeah, that's awesome playing. And you and Michael working incredibly well together. Yeah, a lot of notes going on. But it's just driving. It's still there's a lot of notes, but it's driving and it's still happening. So it's really nice. It's nice to hear.
So was there a lot of rehearsal for that recital?
Well,
there should have been more.
There should have been a bit more, yeah. But that's great.
Was that the sessions in the pubs again? Was it?
Well, luckily we've played for years, so we know how we both work. And I just bopped him around, and he was great. He was great.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Well, before we go into your last set that we've got tonight, tell us a wee bit about this. It must have been quite a thrill getting involved with the semi-finals for a start, and then getting through to the final. But tell us, how does the structure of the semi-final work? Because I noticed the same musicians seem to accompany a lot of people. Is that how that works with the BBC one?
Yeah, so you apply online, and then 12 folk get through, and then from there, the rehearsal started on the Thursday, and you get half an hour each, which is absolutely nothing. It goes like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was at the end of the day, which is a wee bit unfortunate, but they're great. So you've got to write out all the charts for them, and then you just give it to them. They've never seen them before, and then they just sight read them like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big job.
Absolutely.
So that was on Thursday, and then the Friday, we went down to the BBC and we had a 15-minute sound check. So that was essentially running through the set, and that's kind of probably the last time you'll play it until the day.
Cheers.
And then
That's
on the day,
because as an accompanist, I mean, it's a huge responsibility because I mean you can destroy a solo artist very, very easily if you get it wrong. So as you say, there are great onus on these people having to do that, and it's people you're not playing with all the time. So, so it's quite hard going. So
with the final, do you get to choose your accompaniment this time round, or is it a kind of a pool again?
yeah, so it's the same folk. It's Vary Hall on the piano and Mike Bryan on the guitar. But we get 2 hours this time round, so that's a wee bit better.
Yay!
Really.
2 hours. Did you say 2 hours?
2 hours, yeah.
Wow, but 2 hours is quite a long time, isn't it? When you to fill it, you know.
I mean, it's a 15-minute set, so.
All right.
It's
doable.
I mean, obviously, everybody. In an ideal world, we would have hours and hours, but we don't. So
sorry, I misunderstood there. I thought you had to do a 2 hour set, and I thought, what? What? That's crazy. All right, okay, it's still 15 minutes. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So 15 minutes. That's roughly 3 sets, isn't it?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah.
So you're looking to get as much into that 3 sets as you can to show what your abilities are and what you can do and what. So yeah, it takes a wee bit of planning. It
does. Yeah.
And you're kind of hoping. You're just hoping that you go for what you hope the judges are going to look for as well, aren't you? It's just one of the things. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to hear a bit from the semi-final, and it's A Bright Star. Tell us a wee bit about that one. It's the middle set, isn't it? We're hearing.
It is, yeah.
But this isn't your whole recital, obviously, but we're going to finish off, and then we'll speak to you quickly before you go. But tell us a wee bit about this set. What have we got here?
So I had 2 sets. This is the last set, or part of, and it's a slow air written by Phil Cunningham called A Bright Star in Cepheus. And I think he wrote it after his brother Johnny passed away. He was, it was quite sudden. So it's a gorgeous tune. And I've got a wee drone pedal in there, so I did it unaccompanied. So
I'm glad you pointed that out, because when I watched this video the first time, I missed the beginning of the video and then saw you playing and heard this sound and thought, how are you doing this? And then it wasn't until I watched it this afternoon that I saw you were using, what do you call it, a drone pedal?
Yeah, drone pedal. I mean, it's technically called, the pedal itself is called a freeze.
Right.
You play, and when you hit the pedal, it basically loops whatever you're playing at that exact point that you hit the pedal.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I just assumed it was a normal loop pedal that was being used. Right, I get you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this gives you the drone effect with the tune. There's all these jealous pipers out there now thinking, I don't know, I can get one of them.
Get 3 of them.
3 of them, yeah. Cool. So we've got the air, and then what have we got following that?
And then a couple of reels. The first one was written by Graham Mackenzie, called A Road to the North. And I messaged my pal Rory, who knows Graham quite well, and I said, do you know the story behind the tune? Thinking that there would be some elaborate story. And he said, it is indeed about A Road to the North, the A9 specifically. So that's all. And then
I nearly feel sympathy there, because there was a lady messaged me yesterday and said, I play with the Greenock Fiddlers European Real Society or something, and we've got a concert tomorrow, and we're playing one of your tunes, and it's called Grace Elizabeth Wood. Could you tell us the story behind it? And I wrote it for my daughter. That was it, really. There was no. I felt such a fake putting that. I'm sorry. It's just a tune I wrote for my daughter, and then I thought about making up some exotic story, and then I thought, no, I better not do that. So that was it. Yeah. So a trip north and the road north. Did you call that tune? So,
The Road to the North, yeah.
Road to the north.
And then the last tune, one of my all-time favourite tunes, written by James Scott Skinner, called Gladstone.
Magic. Take it away. Here we go. Yeah, brilliant. Really, really good. It's incredibly tight as a trio when you've hardly had any time to practice together. It's really, really good. I love that drone effect. Love the drone effect. Yeah.
For anyone wanting to watch the rest of that performance, you can go to BBC Alba on BBC iPlayer.
Oh my goodness. Haven't you been doing your homework? That's good.
Yep.
Aaron, listen, thank you so much for coming on tonight and giving up your time on a Sunday night. It's been brilliant having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Can't wait to meet you when you come up to Shetland, because you'll definitely be coming up, I'm sure. Fiddle player of your standard won't be able to stay away from Shetland for very long. I'm sure you'll arrive. And I can't wait to see you. And all we can do is wish you all the best for the future. Have a good 4th year. And hopefully everything goes well after that. Hopefully by the end of that 4th year, the world's getting back to a bit of normality and we'll be you'll be ready to take stage all over the world again, which will be fantastic. But no, thanks very much. And you take care.
You too. Thanks for having me, guys.
And good luck in February.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. There's Amy saying she can't wait to see her show. But what a player! What a player!
Fantastic.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We do try our best to bring you the best guests in the country. Right, we're doing pretty good so far, Dave. Actually,
We're not doing too bad. We had that guy. What was his name? Was it about a year ago? But that guy got Davey Hunter. He was a bit of a.
He was switched out.
Yeah, I know.
That was a good. But we like to give everybody a chance. So.
Yeah, regardless of talent.
Well, so, really, really good. Fair enjoy that. We've got a change of style of instrument coming for you here.
Style and performance.
Tell us.
We have another performer from the border area. We have piper, whistle player, pianist. We have Mr. Chris Gray.
Yeah,
welcome, Chris.
Hello.
How's it going?
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Chris, you're from not that far away from where I was originally. I was brought up in a place called Crawford John, near Abington in the M74. So it was only about 30 miles to Lockerbie. So.
Yeah, not far at all. Yeah.
It wasn't very far. But I've been up here. I've been, yes. Ali Meeks saying, sorry to interrupt here, Chris, but Ali Meeks saying the show that Davey Hunter was on, he gave it a miss.
I don't blame him.
Anyway, good evening. Good evening, Chris. Brilliant to have you on.
Thanks very much.
So, Chris, tell us a little bit about your kind of growing up in Lockerbie, wasn't it? You were brought up. What was piping like down in Lockerbie?
Well, so yeah, I lived in Lockerbie ever since I was wee until I moved to Glasgow. Kind of similar to Aaron, actually, like to study at RCS. So, I started pipes at the age of 7, and I was really fortunate that there was a brilliant teacher locally, Anthony MacDonald, who was ex-Scots Guards, and he was his generosity and talent as a teacher was incredible. So I was extremely fortunate to learn with him, and so I started with the pipes, and then did various things with that, and later picking up other instruments, piano and whistle, led to different things. So
with the piping, then was it primarily solo side of things you were doing, or were you involved with bands as well? Or?
Yeah, so I did a lot. I used to do a lot of solo piping competitions, and played with bands. And main stint with the pipe band has been with Inveraray District. So
they've been fairly successful.
Not too bad.
Yeah, they've done all right. Yeah.
So, with you, did you play with the band locally when you were in Lockerbie?
Yeah, so my teacher Tony, he was leading the Lochmaven pipe band, which is one of the most local ones to me. So that's where it started, and then before I joined Inveraray, I had a year with the Dumfries and Galway Constabulary, which was in grade 2 at the time. I had a wee stint with them and Youth Pipe Band of Scotland when I was younger. So
Was that was it Callum Watson that was at the Dumfries the
That's
Conservative? When you were there? Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mhm.
And a lot of that guys came through the Annex serviceman's file at one point in time.
So from there, so what year did you move up to Glasgow then to start the RCS? Was that
That was 2013. I moved up.
2013?
So, yeah.
So was it the following year you joined Inveraray then?
I'd actually been playing with the band a wee bit prior to that.
Oh, right, okay.
So it was first competitive season was the year before that.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been a fair commute every week.
Yeah, it was at the time. It was it was quite a trek. But then obviously a lot's kind of changed over time, and being closer to it as well. So yeah, a lot's changed in 8 years or so for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. Lochmaven band, did they used to wear the Flower of Scotland top?
They did, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, what a memory, Davey, I've got.
Peter, you can't remember what you had for tea.
What's that?
You can't remember what you had for your tea, but you can remember that.
Yeah, I can remember that. And I had a pal, Nicky McMeekin, that was an accordion player. He was from the Lockerbie, Lochmaven area, and he's actually up here now. He's living in Shetland as well now. And Lochmaven is the place where they have lochs that's got an extremely strange fish in it, if I'm right in saying.
Possibly.
Yeah, no, there's some fish that's different from all the rest. So there you go.
So the one thing that we have noticed, Chris, is because obviously you're not only a grade 1 kind of level piper, you've also a highly proficient whistle player and a fantastic piano player. I was reading your CV earlier on of what you've done.
That's the kind of fish. See?
Oh.
Somebody knows what kind of fish it was. A Vendace. There you go.
Vendace. So we're going to have our first video for you, and it's from, is it Celtic Connections did a kind of your tune a day, this day 16. It's Ferrabata, which is the boatman. See,
yeah.
Every time we have Gaelic speaking on this show, it's me that has to do the pronunciation. As if it's
That's because you're an East Coaster for Dundee, and you're fluent in it.
Aye, because there's lots of Gaelic in Dundee. So, do you want to tell us a bit about how this came about, Chris?
Yeah, so I did a wee tune a day series, not quite as many days as yourself, Peter, but I did do a series during Celtic at the start of this year, and I mean things were at that point. Obviously, with the situation, it was really just to be creating music and to have a focus, and to be keeping busy with something like that. So it was a good wee project to just be doing that.
Well, I think I said to you before we come on air with this track, I started listening to it and I thought, wait a minute, this is a lovely, nice tune. And then you played a slightly different ending to the bit than I knew, and I thought, what's going on here? And then the pipes come in, so people will see why. You have to change the melody just slightly, don't you, for the one that people sing?
Yeah, it's slightly adapted to fit on the pipe. Yeah,
but it works wonderfully. Works amazing.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Love the arrangement. Love the arrangement. That's one of the things you're kind of known for, Chris, is arrangements on piano of pipe tunes as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually when I first started playing piano, because it did come after learning the pipes. It's one of the first things I did when I went to the instrument. It felt like quite a natural thing to do, like taking the music that I had already had and then finding a way to put that on another instrument. I mean, since I started piano, I have interest in lots of other genres as well, but that was certainly one of the first things I did do and whatnot. So.
Because there's a version which you sent us of, is it Macintos's Lament, the Pibroch?
Yes,
on piano. I was saying to Peter before you came on, we wanted to play it, but I think is it 10 minutes long?
Yeah, and even at that, it's actually a wee bit condensed from the full light version. But yeah, it's still quite a longer piece of music.
So what we'll do, we'll share that on our page because it's a fantastic arrangement and a way for the music to kind of go across rather than listen to the pipes. You've got a different way of kind of feeling the music with the piano and the rest of the instruments.
Can I just quickly say, I got a message there as well that's not come through this site, but somebody sent me a message to you, Kurt Rosenberg in Portland, Oregon. And he says, hi to Chris. He says, Chris already knows I'm a great fan. Wonderful to see him on the show. And he's fair enjoying it and looking forward to it. So.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks very much, Kurt. Hope you're keeping well.
So that's smashing.
So when you're going through the you want to expand on a pipe tune such as Macintosh, where do you start? Where do you start with that sort of thing? You look at the melody or just kind of play about with it and see what works?
Yeah, I think going back to, it's been a wee while since I did that. But it's kind of similar to what I was saying about starting piano, the melody first and taking that, because I'd learned that actually on the pipes like several years prior. But then found a few different recordings, listening with the Gaelic song in there as well. Mm-hmm. And I was interested just to try and, I mean, there's lots of versions of that, but just to do something a wee bit different with it. Yeah. But then starting to think about different possibilities harmonically and just the textures with strings. And I mean, in that particular video, everyone that was involved was just fantastic and they're great players themselves. And yeah, I love doing stuff with strings. And of course, Misha that sing on that track is such a great singer. So
yeah. One of our regulars, Viola, she's asking, what's your favourite instrument to play?
Oh, well, I think that out of the three instruments have such different possibilities, and they also suit very different settings. So, I mean, there's no doubt about it that playing keys, it's got such a kind of range of possibilities. There's no doubt about that, and like I love being able to just particularly play lots of different genres and go into that realms of things. And but then equally playing the pipes, various things. It has its place for different moments. And so I think, to answer the question, I kind of really thoroughly enjoy playing all of them, but kind of different things.
I think that's quite a good thing, isn't it, to be especially as a professional musician, to be versatile. If you want to keep your diary full, you can play 2 or 3 things for different occasions. You're in a far better position. Because I noticed you had played a piano. You done a show there recently, didn't you? Or not that long ago.
Yeah, this past week I had a few things on. I was playing in Edinburgh on Thursday night at the Royal College of Physicians. So I was playing with a few fiddle players there, Ryan Young and Jocelyn Pettit, and we did a show. And I was more kind of doing accompaniment there, and studio work with piano and whistle as well. So I think certainly within traditional music, having keys, it's really nice, and it's such an honor and pleasure to accompany so many amazing players. And, brilliant, just playing different styles and having that experience. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you did your 4 years at the conservatoire for your degree and your honours, but you've just got your masters, haven't you?
So got my masters. I graduated from that in 2019. So it was 6 years in total. I did through RCS, and I had a wee bit of time in Sweden as well with an Erasmus. That was part of the masters. So
yeah.
Okay.
So what sort of thing? Sorry, Peter.
Is that where your interest in the Scandinavian music came from then, working in Sweden?
Yeah, certainly. I was keen to just, the opportunity for the Erasmus came up, and I was just really kind of excited to experience places part, because I had obviously had my 4 years at RCS doing the undergraduate, and I was doing my masters, and then it was only really 5 months away, but it was just kind of a different perspective on things, and a whole new different environment, and played with lots of different people, and yeah, living in a different city as well. That was very interesting.
Fantastic.
So yeah, lots of similarities, but lots of differences with the music as well, of course.
Yeah.
The one thing that we're going to go into another video here, which is also part of your tune a day that you did, and this is a fiddle piece. A fiddle piece, Peter, is that correct?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, called The Mathematician.
It's so Davey, it's so fiddly I wouldn't even attempt it. No, I'd leave it to fiddle players. So hats off to Chris for that one.
So Chris is playing it on piano. As Peter says, one of the harder tunes to play on kind of a keyed instrument. Did you find that yourself when you were learning it, or is it just kind of with just your style of playing, it kind of adapted itself to the performance?
I think it's certainly fair to say it's a more challenging tune. There's a lot of moving around and covering a broad range on the instrument. So yeah, regardless of what instrument you're playing it on, I think most folk would say it is more of a challenge. So, but it's good fun.
Good deal. Brilliant. Yeah.
Here we go. Here's The Mathematician.
Yeah, fantastic. Great sound.
How many takes did that take, Chris?
One.
The thing is about that project is maybe you know as well, Peter, is like when it's a tune a day series, it has to happen that day.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah, so that's that was the kind of fun thing about it. It's like just finding a piece of music to enjoy for that day and just having some fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great rendition. You've done a bit of travelling over the years. More recently, you've been to Basel in Switzerland, and you've been to Germany, all through Europe, Spain, Oman, and Australia. Do you still have kind of some of those things sort of planned, kind of when things get back to normal? You got anything kind of lined up, teaching wise abroad?
I would say that the abroad things are still very quiet at the moment. Certainly kept busy with things here between. Well, I would say since the start of June when things became possible.
Yeah.
I do like a lot of weddings and a lot of teaching myself, and so I'm mostly busy with that here. And I'd love to get back abroad and traveling things as well, but it's just still very challenging, of course, in a lot of ways.
With the is there anywhere that you've been that you've kind of think I could live here?
Well, I mean, there's two places that have had like extended time. I would say there was like Stockholm that I mentioned before, and also when I was in Australia, in Sydney, both for around 5 months. But thoroughly enjoyed both places, but they're just again kind of completely different. And I think that each place is like there's always certain things about home that you can't beat, and there's
what, like a haggis supper or something?
well, that's very good. Yeah, there's lots of so many beautiful places. Yeah, so but certainly. I mean, prior to 2020, there was a few years there that I was kind of going to quite a few different places, and loved it. But obviously last 2 years it's just not been away. So look forward to the next time away very much. I do enjoy traveling. So.
What was it you were doing in Sydney then? What were you doing there?
I was teaching out there, and it was I was there for 5 months. It was like a maternity cover. Teaching pipes at a school in Sydney. So,
Wow. How did that come about then? That's quite incredible.
Well, just the teacher that was out there was obviously having a wee one, and they were looking for cover for that. So it was, I basically finished my master's and we went to Australia for 5 months. And then came back, and it was only shortly after I came back that things obviously changed a lot in the world. And
so Davey, if I want to go to Australia, what I'm needing to do is finish off my masters. I'm halfway through it, but if I finish it, I get a gig in Sydney, do I?
Well, with your playing, Peter, it'd probably be more likely to be Perth, east of Scotland. Perth, West Australia.
Thanks for that.
But no, it was from that you went to Basel to play the tattoo, wasn't it? With as part of Scotch College.
Yeah, that was actually the start of that piece of employment that I was doing, because the school was, as they often are, they're invited to various kind of tattoos and events around the world. So they were performing there, and so we're looking after the band, and they're performing that tattoo, which was amazing for them to be doing that. And
Basel must be the place to go in Switzerland, because we've all been there. Because when we had Stuart Sampson on that night, remember interviewing Stuart, and I talked about a pipe band conference thing or something, and he said, "Oh, we were there with the Gordon Highlanders," and I was out playing with a folk band at that one as well, and that took over the whole square. And then Davies played with the tattoo, and yourself, you've all been there. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
It's a lovely city as well. It's we went for a holiday a couple of years, December 2019. I want to say.
Yeah.
We went the Christmas week. It was great. What we've got now is actually a performance when you were in Sydney on the border pipes. Do you want to tell us a bit about this set?
So this performance from Sydney It came about out the blue. When I was there, I was kind of keen to just find out a wee bit more about the music that was going on, and just obviously it's a completely different scene. But I went Sydney itself. I think it was actually when I was there, it was their first folk festival. I think so. But anyways, I just went down for a listen, and yeah. Someone asked me to come along and play at this event here, and so this is a wee set from there. And the guitarist just hooked up with me for this gig. So because I asked and he joined for a few tunes. So it's good fun.
Oh, I bet they were delighted when somebody of your standard came along and could sit down and play. That must have been a score.
It was a pleasure to be asked, and it was just really found it really interesting. Just that was one of the biggest things. Being another city, another country, just very different musical culture, and
So, brilliant.
Here we go. Let's listen to the set.
Whoa, Jings. That's a cracking set of fingers you've got on you there. Brilliant.
Thanks so much.
So that's border pipes, just for everybody at home. Yep.
Yes, that's a set of Fred Morrison's real pipes. Yeah.
Right. So you can play what I would call false notes on these pipes as well, then, can you?
Yes, you can get the majority of the chromatics. Yeah, there's a few more possibilities there. So,
What one thing I really noticed there when you were working, and it's you can tell when a piper plays other instruments as well, because like say you were turning round to the guitar player and going, here we go, and it was a key change coming up, you know, because there's a lot of pipers just don't know when they change key or anything, because they play on, there's 9 notes and they think that's it, and it's just a scale, and that's the end of it. So it's quite nice to see you giving the heads up to the guitar player there to give him a chance there.
oh, I think it's essential.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't know that though. But I think it makes the piper very, very musical when they do understand. You know, just there's more than 9 notes. You know.
I think it's one of these things that should be taught at a kind of basic level, that there is different keys in pipe tunes. It's not just all just kind of one rattle of notes. And that's one of the things with, obviously, you teach as well privately now, because on pipes and things like that, don't you?
Yeah, I do a bit of teaching across all my instruments, and I think if it is piping wise, I always like to kind of speak a lot about just like broader music and delve into that. So yeah, thoroughly enjoy that.
So is that all private? Or is it kind of, are you teaching at a school, or is it just what level? What sort of kind of teaching do you do?
Just privately at the moment. But yeah, I do kind of. It's quite varied. Because I mean, piano wise, there's kind of various things that people like to look at. Where it's a bit of Ed Sheeran, or just music, or it's really, really wide open, and I love that actually. Like hearing students come in and hearing what music they're really into, and what they like to listen to. It's learn lots doing that, and then equally pipes and whistles and whatnot. So I really enjoy variety.
Yeah. So you were piping first. Obviously, you said that earlier on. Then, so when did you take the piano up? When did you take up the keys?
Took up the piano early teens, and that was mainly inspired by a workshop that was in my school. There was a pianist that came in, and it was really inspiring, and I was kind of hooked from there. But yeah, nowadays.
That was in Lockerbie, was it? Did you go to school in Lockerbie? Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. And but since then and now I kind of play as much of each instrument, and it really depends, like project by project and what's required. But just enjoy kind of bouncing around a few instruments. So
I've never been in the school in Lockerbie, but I have been in the Bluebell Hotel a few times.
Very good.
Is it still there?
Well, I don't actually know. I'm not back all that often, actually.
There used to be a place called the Bluebell, I'm sure, at one point.
Yeah.
There we go. So when you went up to Glasgow, did that bring on the pipe band stuff a bit step up again then? Was that easier to work with?
I mean, I was doing a lot of that prior to going to Glasgow, but certainly with rehearsals and things, it made things a lot easier. Just the way it was. But I would say moving to Glasgow is more where I became more involved with the other music that I'm doing now, and kind of collaborating with a lot of people and playing different things. So I'd say that's more where the move to the city, that's where it kind of moved things.
Because when you said earlier you played with Dumfries, the police pipe band, because Callum, I know Callum Watson fairly well, and keep in touch with him sometimes as well. And that was a fantastic wee band for that area to come through that area at that point in time, wasn't it? I mean, because there really wasn't that many bands had got to that standard, and down in the southwest, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the time and for quite a few years, that was the kind of the highest level band in the area, and so yeah, that was great to spend a year playing with them.
When I was young, there was the two bands in Annan. There was Annan ex-servicemen and McLean of Annan.
Yeah.
And of course, Annan ex-servicemen, they were up quite high at one point in time. I think they were up grade 2 at one point, weren't they? They probably even made grade 1. I'm not sure. Can't remember.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, it's good.
You recently got involved with the Fraser Shaw Trust. They were looking for kind of arrangements of Fraser's tunes, weren't they? They're looking at kind of reimagining, and you recorded a tune called "Strings and Blowy Things." You want to tell us about how that came about? What your thoughts were?
Yeah, so that was a project during last year, and the trust did a remix project of Fraser's tunes, and there's a lot of people applied with various ideas, and it was a real honour to arrange one of his tunes. And actually, at the time, it was a real focus in the midst of last year to have that project. But yeah, an opportunity to delve further into Fraser's music, and I really enjoyed doing that. And what came out was I played a lot of the tunes, and I picked this one to do a trio arrangement with on the piano. I put some whistle in as well, but then there's bass and drums on that. So James Lindsay and Scott Mackay, and we did that all remotely because it was just what was happening at the time. So yeah.
So let's have a little listen to how that turned out.
Yeah, well done, so. Fantastic. Yeah, I can see, Chris, why you've got quotes on your website that I have to read because I can't remember them offhand. But Gray treats us to the fruits of his musical imagination. Very, very obvious there. You're pushing the barriers, but never going over the top. I don't think it's still incredibly. You're containing it to its traditional side there. It's still very melodic. It's still working in musical arrangement without being too abstract in a way.
I think that video is certainly that's a blend of obviously the traditional music and flavors of other music that I really enjoyed playing and looking at as well. And that was that's what I had in mind when I asked James and Scott to play in it, because they play lots of different music the tune, but lots of kind of jazz and improvisation, and that was certainly a feature I wanted to bring into that arrangement and just take it somewhere else. So yeah.
Tell me, stuff like that. You brought an album out. Was that 2020? Your album came out.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
What's that album? What was that album called again?
So the album was just self-titled.
And that came out. You launched that at Celtic Connections in 2020. Did you? Can people get a hold of this? Is that the easiest place to get your music from? Jump onto your website, Chris Gray Music. There's the rest of the books.
Yeah, there's physical album, CDs, and digital downloads there. So, yeah.
Right. So anybody, if you're interested in Chris's music, I would recommend going on and having a look at Chris's website as well. It's a wonderfully professionally laid out website, very easy to navigate, which is really nice. I think that's a lesson to all people that want to be professional musicians. Get your website sorted out, guys, because there's nothing worse than going on and it's all out of date and all that kind of stuff. It's a real nice website. And you can purchase stuff from his store on there. The album, tell us a wee bit about the album, just for folk that, did you have a theme behind it, or did you just go for tracks, or?
So this album, it's all original tunes, all original compositions, and yeah, I've been writing those for quite a long time. The first track that's on it, the actual tunes were written about 7-8 years ago, but then it's all tunes I've written in that period up until when it was recorded in 2019, and it's 10 tracks, 4 pipe tracks and 6 tracks where I'm playing whistle, and there's piano on every track. Every track features fiddle and bass and drums as well, and then there's a series of guests that kind of feature on certain tracks.
Fantastic. So it's all your own original material then, the whole album?
Yeah, the whole album, yeah.
Fantastic. So composing is obviously something you're into in a big way as well. If you can bring an album out. Do you have a book out as well then of your compositions?
It's in the works. In the works. Yeah. So it's going to be happening fairly soon, actually. So so folks just keep an eye on my social media and our things. So yeah.
Until last year, I had never brought out a book of compositions ever, and met up with Davey on the internet basically, and Davey said he'd done the books, and so I put him in charge and let him go for it, and got a book out, and now I've got 2 books out, and it's unbelievable. I never thought it would happen, and they've sold really well. So I wish you all the best of luck with that one as well, because it's great, and get your stuff out, and it's nice when you hear somebody else playing your tunes, you know.
Yeah, it's always a nice surprise to see someone connect with it in another way. So,
the only thing I've found is sometimes when somebody does a better arrangement of my tune than what I've actually written myself, that you think, hold on a minute. That's great. That's good.
Brilliant.
So we're going to finish off with a live track, Chris, from your press the wrong button there. From your from your live launch at Celtic Connections, the track 8 Minutes. Do you want to tell us a bit about the story behind that one?
Yeah, this is a set of polkas and 3 tunes. It's titled 8 Minutes in Schiphol, and that's also the name of the first tune. Basically, I was playing 4 or 5 years ago in Slovakia, and it was just there was meant to be there was a connecting flight through Amsterdam, but there was a wee bit of a delay in Slovakia, so it was looking very unlikely we were going to make our connection, but we landed.
So I take it was longer than 8 minutes then.
We were. That's actually roughly how much time we were in the airport. So we did make it, and but yeah, we landed into Amsterdam, and the next flight was actually half an hour after that. So we're thinking, it's not looking so possible. But then we kind of had a wee dash, and we just made it. So that's that one. The second one's called Lezik, and that's written for Christina Lezik and our family. It's a friend I met that's in Sweden. We did a lot of playing together, and we actually made a wee EP a few years ago. And then the last tune is actually it's called The Last Jaffa Cake, and that's actually from another moment in Sweden. It's a friend that was particularly fond of them, and their sadness to see the last one. So I can definitely play it, but there we are. So yeah, just a fun set of polkas.
Magic.
Here we go.
fantastic. Really nice sound. Yeah, great sound. Big band to take about.
I mean, it's just a very kind of, I mean, it's very much kind of one-off, having everyone there for the launch and just to play the set. So, that was kind of the first time everything was played. So, it was a fun evening.
I bet you're playing away, and then listening to it, going, "This is sounding great." Try to focus on one thing after not hearing it live before. You're just kind of hearing it in sessions.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing, completely different, and it can feel very different live for sure. Things can even most definitely change from what's recorded. So, it was great to play that for everyone. So feels like also feels like quite a long time ago now, given just the last year. So,
but we'll get there again. Listen, I can't believe we're through another hour. That's been a fantastic hour of music. Really enjoyed listening to your music. Really enjoyed meeting you.
Thanks
and hoping we'll get together someday in the flesh sometime, and I'll be able to have a tune and things. That'd be really awful good.
Absolutely.
And we'll have to get you Doth as well, because you were telling me you haven't been in Shetland either, so we'll have to.
No, I haven't.
If you're coming in the winter, take your seasickness tablets. That's the only thing.
Oh, yeah.
The best idea is just to fly. That's the best idea. Get here quicker. It might still be bumpy, but it's over in an hour.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
No, it's been great speaking to you again, Chris. And if there's anything you've got going in the future, let us know, and we'll push it on the website page and the show.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, great to have a wee bother with you both.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much. You take care now.
All the best.
Right. There we go. That's been a cracking wee show tonight again.
Has.
Really enjoyed that. I just wanted to quickly say I noticed some things that are coming on. I saw Edna put in. Edna, I hope. Again, I noticed Graham McKenzie coming from Esplanade. The fiddle, was it Graham McKenzie that was playing, was it? There we go. Edna, I hope you're getting better. Poor Edna's had COVID. And she's not been keeping just very well with it, but hopefully it's going to get better, Edna. So you take care of yourself. And just brilliant to see everybody joining in tonight. Thanks very much for joining us for another magic show. It's been great fun. We tried to keep the guests going. And they keep sending comments here, David. They keep sending comments.
I'm wanting this one. Oh, you missed one out, Peter. You missed one out.
Who did I do it?
Oh, you missed one out. Oh,
what, Isabel?
Aye, because it's your birthday on Tuesday, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's you 60 again.
60 again. But I said to Angus, my wee boy, today, I said, what age do you think I'm going to be on Tuesday then? He says, Dad, I really don't want to know. So that was that. That was it. Yeah. Anyway, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Hopefully you can join us next Sunday night again when we have another two fantastic guests again. Okay. I think we'll get guests right through to the beginning of December now again. We're booked right through again. There's lots of people coming on. So don't worry, we will entertain you in the long dark nights of winter. Thank you very much, Davey, for doing all you do again, and have a good week.
Hi. I will the week, and I'll see you next Sunday.
Aye, you'll probably see me before that, actually.
Yeah, probably.
We usually have to do a fair bit of preparing for all this. Folk just see us for 2 hours, but we're working away at it to keep it going. So,
yeah, but you enjoy your 2 weeks holiday.
Only 2 weeks.
Only 2 weeks, aye.
7 weeks the last night. Right.
What a shame.
It's hard going this school life. Right.
Right.
Okay. Take care. See you later, guys. Good night.